All right. Am I unmuted now? Perfect. All right. Well, thank you guys and welcome to the Legal Table. I'm your host, Crystal Jamerson, and I'm the Community Engagement and Outreach Coordinator for Legal Services of Northwest Minnesota. The Legal Table was created to educate you on your rights, your responsibilities, along with introduce you to community organizations that have resources to help you along the way. So today we're here to address disability benefits and resources that you are able to use to assist you. While as the community engagement coordinator, I talk with community partners and clients to understand the frustrations that people have with applying for Social Security, the appeals, the denials. Sometimes it's just plain old hard to navigate. So today, Legal Services of Northwest Minnesota is trying to make sure that people in our counties that we serve are aware of the process and the resources that are available when you do become disabled. As you know, Legal Services of Northwest Minnesota, we serve 22 counties, and we have 3 offices where we assist clients in navigating the justice system and providing services for low-income individuals in the area with their civil legal needs. We hope to bring you more information on many civil law topics throughout the year, so make sure you continue to join us and pass the information along to coworkers and to clients. With that being said, I want to introduce you to our guest today. We have Joy Mickles. She's one of our LSM and staff attorneys. We also have Lay Lake from Freedom Resource Center. And I believe that Tanya Sirleaf from Hero is going to also be joining us, so that should be great too. I wanted to go over real quick just a few housekeeping rules here. Please make sure to put all of the questions in the chat and we'll get to them at the end of the presentation. I want to just try to make sure that each presenter has enough time to present. Also, this is an hour-long meeting, so if you would like more information, each panelist will have their information listed at the end for more info. This meeting also will be available on our YouTube channel by the end of the week. So if you have coworkers that weren't able to make it, please make sure to check out our channel, and you should be able to find our previous broadcasts along with today's broadcast. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic over to Joy, our staff attorney, and she does have a presentation, so I'm going to go ahead and get that up really quick for her. Sorry, Joy, I had it up. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and I'll share my screen here so we can get that situated. All right, are you able to see my screen?
I am, thank you. Can everyone hear me okay? Right.
Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Joy Mickles. I am an attorney with Legal Services of Northwest Minnesota. I represent clients in the administrative law judge appeal hearings, and my contact information is on the slide. If you have any additional questions after the presentation, feel free to reach out. And as Crystal had said, so everyone knows what Legal Services is, we are legal aid. We represent, Crystal, would you mind going to the next slide?
Thank you. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
There we go. Thank you.
Our service area is in the lime green. We cover 22 counties. We offer the full rep that most people think of in family law, senior housing cases, and then Social Security. But we also have the Attorney of the Day program, which is a hotline, which an attorney answers from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. or an advocate. We have self-help clinics in Beltrami, Becker, Ottertail, and Clay County. And we now have a virtual self-help clinic. And then we have the kiosk, which I'm sure people have seen in the communities, and the Justice Bus. So we do have a wide range of services that we offer to our community. Next slide, please. So I'm sure everyone's heard someone say, I'm going to apply for Social Security, but what does that actually mean? There's two different programs. There's SSI, which is Supplemental Security Income, and Social Security Disability Insurance, which I like to call SSDI. The two programs have one thing in common, and that is that the person has to be disabled. And we'll talk later about what it means to be disabled in the eyes of Social Security. But for SSI, a person also has a requirement that they have to have low or no income. And we'll talk about what that standard is when we talk about substantial gainful activity. And then low resources. So low resources for an individual is $2,000. And if it's a couple, they have to have resources under $3,000. When you're thinking of resources, be mindful that a person's car, just one car, and their home does not count in resources. There's other things that don't count too, but those are the two big things that won't be included in resources. For SSDI, the person had to used to work. So what this means is that a person had enough work credits. So if someone engaged in work, but they didn't work enough to have enough credits to be eligible for SSDI, then they're not going to get SSDI. And the other requirement when we're looking at the use to work is a person had to become disabled before their last date of insurance. So I kind of like to think of SSDI as what you pay into each month when you're working. And that if you're found disabled while you have those credits and your insurance is still there, then you can collect on SSDI. The nice thing about SSDI is there's not the requirements of low resources. So people don't have to worry about making sure that they are under the resource level. I also like to remember that you can receive both. So if you have a client who has worked in the last 15 years, I'd strongly encourage them to apply for both SSI and SSDI, because let's say you don't have enough work credits or insurance that you're going to get under the $943 a month, which you would receive if you get SSI. Then they can combine what you have from SSD to the SSI level. So it's not completely SSI, which is nice because there's not that resource limits for the SSDI. So if a person did get in a situation where they're over resources, they would still be eligible for their SSDI. On to the next slide, please. So what does disabled mean for Social Security? It means the inability to engage in substantial gainful activity by reason of any medically determinable physical or mental impairment, which can be expected to result in death, or which has lasted or can be expected to last for a continuous period of not less than 12 months. So the big thing when you're talking to clients is it can't be a temporary disability. It has to be at least 12 months. It can't be something that's temporary. Also, for substantial gainful activity, it's kind of a fancy word for talking about how much money you're making a month. So if a client's going to make more than $1,550 a month, then they're not going to be eligible for disability because that's the cutoff for substantial gainful activity. The other thing I always tell clients is if you're talking to someone and they think that they're disabled and they're pondering applying for disability, I would tell them to apply, because when the process, it takes a long time. And when we're looking at back pay, let's say that it applied today, and I have a case next week, which the person applied for in October of 22. So it's been almost 18 months. So they look at the date that you applied, and that's going to be the date that they're looking back for back pay. So for SSI, if you're found disabled, back pay begins the month after you applied. For SSDI, you must wait 5 months after the onset of disability, and back pay will pay up to 12 months before the filing. So for SSDI, it's even more important, I think, that you apply when you feel that you really are disabled and can't work anymore, because if I became disabled in 21, but I don't apply until 23, my back benefit would only go back a year from when I applied, even though my onset of disability was much, much further ahead. And that does make such a big difference for clients when they get that back pay. I know it's really hard to wait, but if they have that, let's say $9,000 in back pay, it can help them pay ahead on their lease. It can help them get a car. So it's really important that they apply when they feel that they are disabled. We can go on to the next slide. So some helpful hints when you're working with clients, remind them to report to Social Security monthly. We get calls where clients are getting overpayments, and a lot of times it deals with them getting a job, which you can have when you're on Social Security, like there's different counting ways that they do that, but you can work when you're on Social Security. But if you don't report your wages, and let's say they find out a year later, because Social Security is slow, that, hey, this person's been working and they were getting $300 too much a month in Social Security benefits, then they're going to get a letter in the mail and they're going to owe back pay. And if they've waited a whole year Social Security to find it, it could be a back pay. Sometimes it's $10,000, and that's really scary for our clients. So I think the big thing is to make sure that you're reporting wages, other incomes, changes in your resources, changes in your living arrangements, because that can also reduce your benefit, and keep copies of what you submit to Social Security. So if you get in a situation where you're like, you know what, I know I submitted this on time and they had that and this isn't right and I'm appealing it, you have that to back up your claim, because sometimes Social Security doesn't have it. The other thing that I think is a really good helpful hint is when you're working with clients, to encourage them to go on Social Security's website, and on their website that you can find a disability starter kit. And when they're doing their application, there's a lot of questions they're asking, and they're asking about information about yourself. You got to remember where you were born, your Social Security card, all that good stuff, information about where you worked in the last 15 years, but they're also asking how many hours a week did you work, how many hours a day, what were you paid? They're asking about your medical records. They're wanting to know where your doctor is, when this is the first time you saw him, when's the last time you saw him. So this disability starter kit has checks boxes, and you can get all this information and write it down before the person starts to apply. So when they actually do the application, I think it goes a lot smoother for the client. Next slide, please. So how do you apply for Social Security? You can apply online, and that's the online address to apply. You can apply on by phone, or you can call Social Security and ask for an in-person interview with your local office. And if you call by phone, they're going to call back and give you a time for your appointment. But there's 3 different options for a person to apply for SSDI. Next slide, please. So the application process, it's a long process. It usually takes about 4 months. Sometimes I've seen 2, but it can be even longer. They'll receive a decision from Social Security. They're going to get notification that if they are denied, they can request reconsideration, but they need to do that within 60 days. Again, I'd strongly encourage clients to keep a copy of what they turn into Social Security. If you're working with a client who did apply for Social Security, gets that denial, and they have questions about what to do next, remember us that Legal Services, that's something that we can help with, and encourage them to call and do an intake. If they're going to appeal, they're going to ask for it to be reconsidered. It's Disability Determination Services in Minnesota who is making those decisions. They're going to look at the case again. It's going to be a different doctor. They're going to look at any new medical evidence that you submit or any other evidence and determine whether or not that initial decision was right. That again can take up to 4 months. Once you get that, you're then going to get notification that you have the right to ask for a hearing in front of an administrative law judge. That judge is not bound by the decisions of DDS at the 2 lower levels. They kind of come in with a clean slate and they want to hear the evidence from you. That once you ask for that hearing, I'd say it usually takes about 6 to 8 months to get that hearing scheduled. Once a client asks for that hearing, they're going to, when they're scheduling the hearing, they're going to get a list of all representatives and attorneys who could possibly help. That's the low income list of representatives and attorneys, which I think is really nice for clients to see the different resources that they can get help with. You don't have to have an attorney at these hearings. They're very informal compared to district court, but I also think that it always helps to have an advocate at your side. We do represent in those. If a client is interested in getting an attorney to help, again, they'll have to do an intake. We want to look at their Social Security file, which they can request for Social Security, and it would either be emailed or they receive it in a CD. We just want to make sure that the case meets our priorities and we'd have staff available to assist. The big thing what I always tell clients when they're going through this application process and waiting for the appeals and waiting for the ALJ decision is to make sure that they are following their medical advice. And the reason is it's really hard when I get before the ALJ and someone, let's say they say that their back hurts really bad and they can't work, but they haven't been going to the doctor. They've never told their doctor about this. There's nothing in their record. It's kind of their voice just telling it's not as strong as if the person had been going to the doctor, has been following the recommendation, is telling their doctor, even though I'm doing PT, my back hurts really bad. I can only stand for 2 minutes. That kind of documentation is a lot more powerful. Or if they think they can't work because of their medical conditions, if they're going to Voc Rehab and they're talking to Voc Rehab about why I can't work, all that we're able to get entered into the record so the judge can see that there is the documentation to back it up. If you lose at the ALJ level, there is, you can ask for it to be further reviewed by the review council. And if you don't win at the review council, you can also ask for it to be looked at federal court. We don't represent, we only go up through the ALJ, but those are additional options. Next slide, please. I think if you have additional questions, a helpful website is the Minnesota Disability Hub. They have great information on their website about the two programs of SSI and SDI, and some questions that people have about how much they can work, et cetera. It goes a little bit more into detail. And then I also put our website up there. You can feel free to have clients apply online, or they can call also. Thank you. You're muted, Crystal.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much, Joy, for sharing. That is a lot of information. And I know the Social Security process can sometimes be, sometimes unnerving for some people, especially when you are dealing with a couple of different barriers. So I appreciate you kind of guiding us through that. And then if you do have questions for Joy, please make sure to put them in the chat, and we'll try to make sure to get those addressed by the end of the meeting today. All right. So for now, we also have a kind of a switch up in presenters, but that's okay. We have Stephanie, and I apologize if I say it the wrong way. Is it Wrestler? And she's going to be joining us from Hero today to talk about their organization and the different programs and resources they have. So go ahead and take it away, Stephanie.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for inviting us. I'm sorry Hero got double booked last minute, and so I'm stepping in for Tanya, our executive director. I'm Stephanie Wrestler, the development coordinator here at Hero. If you have never heard of Hero before, it stands for Healthcare Equipment Recycling Organization, and we're here in Fargo. So we are a nonprofit that our mission is to provide affordable access to affordable healthcare, supplies, and equipment. So I'm gonna share a screen here really quick. Hopefully it works. I was having some issues beforehand. Can you guys see this so far? We're good? Okay. Yes. So like I said, Hero mission to provide access to affordable healthcare equipment and supplies in our local community. We provide that life-saving. We also do global missions as well. We provide life-saving medical supplies for medical missions around the world. 300 pallets are shipped annually, which is huge. I'm just kind of giving you a little bit of background about Hero because it has a lot to do with the Hero Cares program that a lot of you guys might be referring individuals to, which will be beneficial. Environmentally, everything that we get in the Hero retail store is donated. We don't buy anything. It's donated by the community, partners like Sanford and Essentia, but I'd say a good portion of it is just our community. We live in a really great place for donations. We've kept so many of, we call it usable medical waste, out of our local landfills. This nonprofit started because two nurses saw the usable, we say usable because it is still usable, medical waste that was being tossed in emergency rooms and in the hospital as well. So by standards, obviously in hospitals, they have to throw those things, but they're great. Somebody else can still benefit from them. Even with the expiration dates still passing, we all know that a lot of those things are still good. 6,700 individuals served annually and over 800 global missions served total to date. And I'll explain a little bit why that number is individuals served annually. We have a retail store in Hero. A lot of that is what makes this unique. It is, you walk in, you walk out with it. A lot of people that are rehabilitating somewhere and they're transitioning to their home need that equipment now. They don't have time for insurance to kick in. They need it put together. That's a huge thing that people don't think about when they order from Amazon or wherever they're ordering from. It doesn't come assembled. That can be difficult for some people that are struggling with disabilities, or age is a factor as well. It goes through an inspection process, a sanitization process as well. Of course, sometimes we get things that we just cannot use, but if we can scrap a wheel from something, if we can scrap a battery, we are going to do so. We're the good kind of hoarders, I always say. We save a lot.
And Stephanie, I just wanted to stop you for just one moment. You're doing a fantastic job. I just wanted to make sure that your presentation, if you were on a separate slide, we can only see the first slide. So if you wanted to
Oh,
put it in present view, yeah, just so that everybody can see all the good information that you're
oh, I'm
sharing
so
with us.
sorry.
No,
I
that's
don't know
okay.
why that's not working because it's showing on my end.
It might just be a different screen is presenting, but we're following right with you. So if you want to keep on going, go
Sure.
on ahead. That's perfectly fine.
Let me try something here. I'm so sorry. Thank you for stopping
No,
me.
no problem at all. I just wanted to make sure we all could see everything that you had.
Sure. Let me just pull it up one more time here. Let me disconnect from my other one. This is helpful by any means. Okay, can you still see nothing? Just the same slide?
We can see you now. Nothing is being shared. But now it says that something's being shared here, and it's your slides, your main PowerPoint screen. There we go. Perfect. You
I'm
got
sorry,
it.
I apologize.
No worries. Keep going.
Okay, so let me jump back into our donation time, our retail store. So anybody can stop in and shop. That's what I'm saying. So you walk out with it that day. But what I want to get into, obviously I can't do what I do during the day and get these products out. So we're always looking for volunteers. They really are the heart of Hero in our nonprofit. They do a lot of the cleaning, a lot of sorting and organizing. We appreciate our heroes so much. We are a small team of about 5 core individuals. So a lot of it comes from volunteers. But what I wanted to get to is our hero products. So a lot of your individuals that you might be working with that you might want to refer to Hero are maybe looking for these items. So we have basic wound care items, incontinence supplies, bathroom safety equipment, which is huge, walkers, wheelchairs, hospital beds, and lift chairs, all very valuable things to someone. And we have, it's called the Hero Cares program. And this is kind of what we wanted to talk about today. This program helps to reduce the cost with a small copay for individuals that are overwhelmed by the cost of healthcare, and Hero can help fill that gap. So we don't run anything through insurance. That is one nice thing. We also don't ask a lot of questions, but what we do need is a medical referral. That also means a social worker can do it, a case manager can do it. We have even taken referrals from, the police department, the fire departments in our local region. So what that looks like is we just ask, how many people are in the household and what is their annual income? But what we need that referral for is, why is this being deemed medically necessary for them to have? So we have very basic items that are on the Hero Cares program, but very medically necessary. So just to give you an example, this is Joe. I always like to show Joe. He simply just could not afford a manual powered wheelchair, excuse me. He's been in this manual wheelchair for many, many years. So through the Hero Cares program and his referrals, Joe was able to get that wheelchair, that powered one, for $0, you guys. That's huge. Sometimes there can be a small copay of $100, but that's opposed to, $1,000 powered wheelchair item. The other one too, the other picture is we work with Easter seals frequently too, and we were just able to supply this individual with a wheelchair because this other one was old and rickety and needed some help. So again, going back to our mission, this picture that you see on your far right is our warehouse. It looks like a mess, but I promise you it's an organized mess. These are all the items that are being donated that individuals in the community near and far, not just the Fargo-Moorhead area, can get. So again, going back to that Hero Cares program, with a basic medical referral, your individual that you're referring could be getting a hospital bed for $100. And that doesn't mean that they can't work with another agency. We work frequently with Freedom Resource Center in Fargo. We work with hospice, you name it. And this is not just partial to North Dakota. We work with all states. There's no guidelines for that. It just depends on maybe the other resource we might be working with. They might have more guidelines. So Hero's mission: affordable equipment and supplies to those who need it. It is that basic, you guys. The reason why I really love to spread the word is because so many people don't know about it, and you're not coming to us unless you need us, right? You might, not be sending someone just to check out the store. But we really highly recommend referrals coming over, whether it's a medical referral or you're just saying, hey, check out Hero. It's going to be a lot cheaper here than it would be, purchasing it online or wherever else they might be getting it for full price. And again, we understand that insurance covers a lot of those things, but most of the time people don't have time to wait for insurance to kick in, or they just simply don't have insurance. We are located in South Fargo, so off 52nd Avenue. That is our address and our fax number. Questions are that request at herofargo.org if you have questions on the referral process. But checking out, and I'll put it in the comments too, herofargo.org is our website. And it has the referral agency form at the very bottom. It's kind of nice for people to look at that and see what we're asking for referral, like the questions that we're asking on the referrals. Again, it's not much, but it shows too the copays of things, if they're eligible. Is there any questions?
And we're going to take some questions at the end, Stephanie, just so that we can have all of our presenters on, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Yep. So that's it right now. But yeah, I welcome questions.
Well, thank you so much, Stephanie. I will say that I learned about Hero probably about, 6 years ago when I had surgery and I needed a one-knee scooter. And I think sometimes when you go into surgery, you're not necessarily thinking about what you're going to need post-surgery. You're just thinking about, hey, I need to get whatever fixed right now. And it was amazing. It was quick. It was easy. It was affordable. I was able to turn in my one-knee scooter when I was done. And so it's an amazing agency. I hope that you guys all got a chance to be able to get some of her information down, but we will have some information at the end as well.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. And our next presenter is Lay Lake from Freedom Resources. And if you want to go ahead and take it, now if you have anything to share, just make sure to use the share button. I just opened it up for everybody again. So we should be good.
Okay, thank you, Crystal. My name is Lee Lake, and I am from the Fergus Falls Freedom Resource Center office. I just want to start out just a little bit of history. That Freedom Resource Center was organized in 1989 by a few individuals in the Fargo-Moorhead office, or the area actually, and it was a group of advocates is what they were known as later on, who had disabilities. And they saw a need for a place where people with disabilities could go and get some information, advocacy, support, in order just to live a more independent life. People with disabilities around the area, even around our nation, are often treated as second-class citizens and face barriers of attitude, communication, and physical environments. So these people, they just wanted to make a lasting change so that people with disabilities could be fully integrated into society. And at this time, we look at approximately 19% of our population has a disability. So it's just amazing that this small group of individuals helped start an office with 3 people in it in the Moorhead office back in 1989, and now it has moved up. We are now into 5 different offices, 5 different locations. And we're in Fargo, Lisbon, Jamestown, Wahpeton, and Fergus Falls. So we serve 10 counties in North Dakota and 11 counties in Minnesota. So sometimes we're putting on the miles and stuff and talking on the phone quite a bit with people, but we reach out a long ways to serve people. We serve people with all different types of disabilities, all ages, all income brackets. No medical documentation is needed from the individuals. It's all a self-disclosed disability that they have. So there's no complicated applications that they have to fill out and get all this documentation. It's just very easy. And the best thing of all is all of the services that we provide are free for individuals. So, people come in and they're just like, well, I don't have any money but I need help with this or that and stuff. And can you help me? We help people the best we can. If we don't know it, we will refer them on to places that we know can help them. Many people with disabilities or their families, sometimes they just don't even know where to go. All of a sudden they're maybe in an apartment that they can no longer access the toilet or the sink, properly like they used to, maybe because of some health reasons and stuff. And we have someone that could come in and can look over their home and stuff and figure out ways to make some adjustments in their home, because we want everybody to be able to live as independently as possible. So we work with all different types of people, all different situations. One of the things I love about my job the most is no 2 days are the same. There's always different things that you're working with. The only thing that we ask for the individuals when they come in is that they realize that we are here to help them achieve their goals. We will not do the goal for them, but we will assist them. We will walk beside them. We will give them all the information that they need. So to kind of break it down, the Centers for Independent Living, they're community-based, cross-disability, non-residential, nonprofit organizations throughout the United States. And people call them CILS, Centers for Independent Living. And it's just neat because they have a strict philosophy of consumer control. So it's what does the consumer want? And sometimes I lose sight of that. I just want to why don't you just do it this way, or here, I'll just do it for you and stuff. But it's like, no, we want to promote independent living. So that's what we need to do. I may have someone who will call me up on the phone. That's our information and referrals. And we do get a lot of those, which is great. And sometimes we'll get calls from hospitals. We'll get calls from people. My psychologist said that you can file Social Security for me. Will you do that? And it's like, well, no, we won't file for you. We'll give you the information on how you can do it and walk them through all the proper paperwork and stuff. And then once they get the denial letter, we pass them on to you guys at Legal Services, but we will be there with them along the way. It's a lot of, some people will say, I'm having trouble at my job. I just can't stand like I used to and stuff. Is there any way that you could help so I can, do my job? I want to go to work, but I just can't stand there all day. So we will work with them on some type of a reasonable accommodation. If it's a stool that they need to sit on, if it's a cushy pad, if they're standing a lot, whatever it is that they need for their reasonable accommodation so that they can still go to work and do their job the way that they would like. A lot of individual and systems advocacy, and that could be anything from, it was really interesting. We have a bus here in Fergus Falls that transports people around, obviously a public transportation, but on our block that our office is on, the only accessible parking space, half a block down. And if the bus was to come, there's no way that they could lower their lift down because the only accessible parking space, there's cinder blocks, like cement blocks with 2x4s across it for people to sit on. It's like a bench that this business put in front of their business for people to sit on. It's like, no, okay, so that's not an accessible parking spot because people cannot even use a lift to get down. So just kind of walked up there and just explained the whole process to them that, you could put your bench maybe up against your building or something like that, but not out on the curb because people cannot access their transportation that way. So, sometimes it works out great. Some people may get a little huffy and stuff, but you just try to work with the community and stuff. When I first started here, I'll be honest, I had my blinders on. There was so much out there that I was just so oblivious to. Like restaurants. Do all restaurants, do they have wide enough doorways for someone to get in and out if they are using a chair? Where are the restrooms? Are they down in the basement or on the main floor? Are they accessible? There's just so many different things. I had a lady who came in here one day and she uses a chair and she was really frustrated because the place that she liked to go and eat, the door was so heavy that she could not open it by herself. So she had to wait for somebody to either go into the restaurant or come out and have them hold it open for her. So we were able to get over there with a little weight machine to show her that it was heavier than the proper weight to open that door and stuff. So some adjustments were made on the door. Now she can come and go into that restaurant as she likes. So there's just so many different things. We have parents who call up and they may have a child in school who has an IEP. The parent just feels like the child is not reaching their potential at all. The school, there's miscommunication going on. The school isn't hearing what the parents need and vice versa and stuff. So we will go with them for their IEP meetings and stuff. Again, what is a reasonable accommodation that can be done to help this child succeed in school? Sometimes it's just a matter of, a couple things that need to change and stuff, but whatever it takes for that child to be able to get their education. We also have some really big things that have changed, as well. with people doing their individual and systems advocacy, and it brings it all the way down to when the ADA was signed. And that, 1989, it took that long, but it was a group of advocates who got together and made all those changes. And with the ADA getting signed, it changed so many things for so many people. And I'm going to put a plug in that our former executive director, that he's passed away now, Nate Allgard, he was there at the signing out on the south lawn of the White House ADA. And that was always a very big moment for him, and just awesome that him, and along with many other people, were out there making these systems changes. We do a lot of independent living skills trainings, and that could be classes or it could be individual one-on-one with the people. Some it could be working on budgeting, could be, as simple as, making out a grocery list before you go to the store and just throwing everything into your cart and stuff. Let's make a budget. Let's see where you can make all your bills, can get paid each month, yet still leave a little bit of money left for some fun at the end of the month. But just some way, some people have never been taught how to do their budgeting. Some people, we can help them. They want to move into a different apartment. Some may not have very good rent history and stuff. So sometimes we could work with them with the landlords, whatever it is, just to get them into a different apartment. Some people, it's just, they may have a goal that, I have been sitting in my apartment alone a lot. And that happened so much during COVID too, that so many people were just in their apartments. They weren't going anywhere. And then afterwards they wanted to go out, but they're kind of nervous and stuff, maybe some antisocial behaviors, whatever it is and stuff. So just working with them on little goals, just little steps to achieve that goal that, yeah, they are out and about again. And that brings it to once a month, all of our different Freedom Resource Center offices. Once a month we call it FIA, which is Freedom in Action. And we do different events to get people to come. And again, that's free. Today at our office, we're hosting chair yoga. So people don't have to worry about getting up off the floor again, but they can just do chair yoga. We do bingo. We've gone on field trips to the museum. We've done a lot of different arts and crafts. We've done menu planning on how to cook meals for less than $5 a day, just all different things. Have counselors that come in and talk about setting personal goals, etc. So it's a wide variety of things that we do to help people get out and about, excuse me. And then also we have our transition services, and that's youth and institutional diversion and transition services. So sometimes there could be maybe some kids in school. Okay, they're reaching junior year. It's like, what are you going to do after you graduate? Oh, I don't know. I want to become a professional football player. Have you ever played football before? No, but it looks like fun. Okay, so let's talk about some realistic goals here. And so it's just, it's just kind of like, okay, what could they do? What do they want to do? Do they want to go on further their education? Is it they want to get out into the job market? What is it that they want to do? And just assisting them and helping them. We have a peer support mentoring program as well. And that is just a wonderful program. That a situation was a gentleman who moved up to the Fargo-Moorhead area. No idea whatsoever. How do you get on a bus? How do you get to where you want to go and stuff? It was a whole new ball game for them. And it ended up where it was one of our board members, actually, that he was a mentor for this young man, and he helped him. He helped him navigate around the city and stuff. This is how you read the different maps. This is where the stops will be at what time, and just showed him how to do it. So again, it created independence for that individual to be able to get around in the community. And so, like I said, no 2 days are ever the same. We do a lot of listening. Sometimes it takes a while to get down to the final, issue at hand. Sometimes somebody will come in here and it could be 5 or 6 different issues and stuff. And it's like, okay, what's the top thing that you want to address first and stuff? And we're just very fortunate that we get to work with Northwest Legal Services. We work with Heroes. There's so many other wonderful agencies out there that it's great that we can work with just to help people promote independence and remove barriers in the community and for the lives. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. And again, we'll leave it open for the questions. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I know that you guys have a plethora of different services that are there. I've been to your organization and there's a lot of questions that had popped in. So hopefully we'll be able to get to those too, so that we can make sure to get those answered. I know that everybody is, they are talking a lot about the disability resources, and I know that Mary is in our live today, and she's from State Support. And Mary, I didn't know if you wanted to just share where they're able to find fact sheets, just in case they had some questions. If you have a second to show it, great. If not, that's okay, and we can kind of get into the question portion.
Yes,
Mrs.
I'd like
Chapman.
to show it, Crystal. Thank you very much.
Perfect. That'd be great.
Can you, do you share the screen or do I do it from my end?
You go ahead. Just go ahead and share
Okay.
the screen, and then you got like just about 5 minutes so that we can get some questions in there, because we do have a ton that popped in.
Perfect. I'm just going to really quickly show folks lawhelpmn.org, and Law Help has got a lot of, can you see my screen? Law Help has
Yes.
a lot of resources for civil legal problems in Minnesota specifically. Today, since we're talking about Social Security disability insurance, I'm going to just take you over here to our self-help library. This is where you will find things by topic. And if you're looking for things about SSI and SSDI, you're going to go to Benefits and Healthcare subtopic and click on that. And then you'll see a series of tiles, and you want to click on the Social Security benefits, SSI and SSDI, to see some of the resources that we have on Law Help. There's not a ton, but there are some good ones. And I think based on what our presenters talked about today, probably SSI overpayments and SSI appeals are going to be interesting for people if they're contacting legal aid. If they're contacting Legal Services of Northwest Minnesota, it may be about one of these two issues. So here's SSI appeals, for example, and then there's steps and questions. And of course, we always recommend that you talk to legal aid if you have any kinds of questions where you think, gee, I really need an advocate or a lawyer. Here's our overpayments fact sheet, and both the appeals and the overpayments fact sheets are in multiple languages. Somali, Hmong, Spanish, and of course, English. And then there's also an interesting SSI kind of question and answer about asset transfers that was done by Southern Minnesota Legal Services Senior Law Project. So there are some questions here, and you just click on the question and it will open up the answer for you. You can kind of scroll down and see what it is that you might want to be looking at. And that's the same for all of our fact sheets. There's just like there's a question or a topic, for example, what is an SSI overpayment? You just click on it and that reveals your answer. So it's really easy to use it. You can also, if you want to read something as a PDF document, as opposed to using our little clickable links here, you could just click this and that will open up a PDF, a full document of the fact sheet that you can read. And you might also want to print that out if you don't want to look at the computer and read it on the computer. Sometimes it's nice to open the PDF and read it that way or print it out. If you want to find more out about what we're doing and what's on Law Help, the website in general, I really recommend that you follow us on our social media if that's something that you do. Otherwise, just bookmark. Our URL is www.lawhelpmn.org, and there's also ways to find providers and clinics in your area by clicking the providers and clinics link. And that's what I've got today, Crystal.
Perfect. Thank you, Mary. You always have all the information that I need.
Oh, good.
So
I'm
I'm
glad to
so
hear
glad
that.
that you were on the line today. So first I want to say thank you to all of our panelists that are here. We're going to go ahead and take a couple of questions so that we can make sure that we get everybody's stuff done. So if perfect. All right. So one of the questions that I saw, and we are streaming on different platforms, so we have questions everywhere. The first one was for Joy from LSNM, and it was, should people appeal after being denied? How often is it that if you are denied that you will actually win an appeal? So if you want to just briefly go over that, that would be really helpful. Joy?
Sure. So I mean, all the cases that I'm taking in front of the administrative law judge, they've been denied at the initial level and the reconsideration level. If you're working with a client or you're an individual and you think I really do have a strong disability claim, I don't understand why I was denied, I would definitely appeal it. I would say that the majority of the cases you're not going to win on your first time or in the reconsideration. It is going in front of that ALJ unless there's some cases called like compassionate allowances, and that's if someone has like cancer and it's documented that it's terminal, those cases go a lot faster. But I think if you've been denied and you don't think that it's fair or right and you really think that you should be eligible for disability, I would definitely recommend that you appeal it.
Perfect. Thank you, Joy. Our next one we had, let's see. It was for Hero. What counties do you serve? And I don't know if we missed it or not, but
Sure. Yeah, all counties. We
all
are
counties.
not restricted to anything.
So
One of the
North Dakota
questions-
and Minnesota?
Yep, any state. We're all over the United States. We're just only one location, so small team. So just a quick answer. There was another question. If nobody else saw it, we would love to be able to do more delivery services, but we cannot. Only in the FM area. We do, however, work with Sanford and Essentia Couriers if it's hospital.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Let's see. We had one for Freedom, and I'm just trying to make sure I just kind of keep them random. So for Freedom Resources, do you have someone that comes in to do an ergonomic assessment of their home? So if, is it that they need to tell you, hey, I have a problem, or they will come in and figure out how to make it better?
Okay, sure. It's best if they call first and to call our Fargo office, and they'll get the smiling, nice voice of Caitlin usually that will answer the phone in the Fargo office. That is 701-478-0459, and she will get you hooked up with the right person. So it's best to call, make the appointment, and then meet with them. Because you never know if the person that does that, they could be out and about in another home at that time and stuff, so.
No, perfect. That answers that question on there. So thank you so much for that. We have to do for, what was it? Okay, so for LSNM here, if someone is disabled, can you help them virtually with their Social Security? So they may not be able to come in. Is there a way to be able to do that?
Sorry, my work phone was ringing and I need to shut it off.
I'm sorry.
No. If they're not able to come in, we can do an intake over the phone. And a lot of my cases that I'm taking at the administrative law judge level, I'm not meeting the client until the day of the hearing. So I don't think, unless they're in the Moorhead area, I take cases all over our 22 counties. So I don't think that's an issue. They just need to call and do an intake, and then they'll get connected. I think if they want to do a virtual meeting, we do have the ability to meet with them via Zoom. But I don't think that should be hinder someone from reaching out to our organization just because they're not located in Moorhead, Bemidji, or Alex.
Perfect. No, that sounds good. And also, and that's an announcement at the end, if for some reason you do have just some paperwork that needs to be seen, we do have a new virtual clinic that is going to be, it's actually started today, which is really great. So you're able to talk to an attorney to look at different court documents, and they are able to look at those court forms and let you know either if you're on the right court form, or maybe you had a question on your court form, so they can assist you a little bit further. If you have any questions on that, feel free to reach out to me later. We had another question for Freedom Resource. So as far as somebody for your services, is it sliding scale fee, or do they pay insurance, or is these services free? How do the payments go?
They're all free.
Oh,
Yep. So
okay.
very
That is
easy, right across the line. Yes, all free.
And for yours, is it North Dakota and Minnesota, or is there a
Yes.
particular service area? Okay.
Nope. All of the Freedom Resource Center services throughout the 21 counties are all free.
That is awesome. I'm just checking off these questions as we go. You guys are doing great. For for Hero, so if they want to apply, if a case manager wants to apply for services, they can just go online, there's a form, or do they have to fill out an ROI, or how does that process go? Can you
Yeah,
run us through that real
absolutely.
quick?
The ROI would probably be left to the case manager. We do not need one. Just send the referral. Yes, they would do it online. Usually most people fill out the form. They usually fax it in. You can also email it to that request@herofargo.org as well. We usually ask that some things do require a script. So that would need to be sent with it too. We can't do anything until we've received the script and the paperwork, because oftentimes the client will be calling and we haven't received all those items yet. So it's very simple, just fill out the form. If for some reason you can't get it online, we can easily email it to you. It's a very, very basic form. If you go to the website, it's all the way on the bottom. It says referral agency form and recipient form. We really just need the referral form because it has the recipient information on there as well. We just really encourage people though, make sure the contact information is proper. A lot of the times we get it and it has all the client's information, but we have no one to contact, for the resource office or whoever's making the referral. So it could be a cat and mouse game sometimes. And we encourage, when we'll follow up once we've received all the paperwork with the client and with the person who is referring the individual. I hope that answers that question.
No, I think that's perfect. Sometimes people are just kind of thinking, how should they do that, especially if you're a case manager and you have clients that are coming in. I know that in my previous experience, sometimes you're not exactly sure as a case manager where all to go for all the different resources. So that's why I think that it's really beneficial that we have the legal table, have community resources, be able to kind of speak about their organizations and let them know of all the different programs that we have. So thank you for that. We do have a time for one more question. If there's anyone in the chat that has a question, I'm just scrolling to make sure that we haven't missed anybody. Okay, so I'm just gonna present my screen really quick just to kind of close out here. So this is, and if you can see my screen here, this is my information. So if you are a community provider, community organization, and you have some resources that you feel that Minnesota needs to know about, please feel free to contact me. You can email me, you can call me. My QR code is there so that if you just actually want to kind of book a meeting with us, you definitely can. We have many attorneys that can do presentations about different civil legal topics. And if for some reason you're a community organization and you're just like, I'm not exactly sure if this is a civil legal topic that you do a presentation on, feel free to send it my way too. I can let you know. Also, I wanted to make sure to give a big thank you to all of our presenters today. I do have their information here so that you're able to contact them. Let's see, there we go. So I'll give you a couple of minutes if anybody wants to write down some information from our guest. If there's additional information you need, please, please, please reach out to them. Or if you would like, our YouTube video will be available by the end of the week. Alrighty. And if anyone doesn't have any further questions, I'm going to just say thank you guys so much for joining us. We tried to keep it under an hour so you can just kind of munch and eat and learn about all the different things in regards to disability and benefits. So until next time, our next meeting will be the third Tuesday of April. And we will be, I believe we'll be talking about employment and garnishments and all that other fun stuff. So please make sure to join us and share our broadcast. Have a wonderful afternoon, guys. Thank you again.